And the thing is, Cream actually has very similar issues, so I don't think this is actually a good matchup for them. I think Cream has issues with shot calling, so I don't really see them taking advantage of maybe the mistakes that Nova might make.
I think
not taking advantage of mistakes. So, I mean, if you're up against Nova,
you have to, right?
You've got to, haven't you? Yeah. There's not going to be many opportunities, not many cracks in plan to get a hold of, so you've got to grab them when they come.
This is just me saying I don't like the odds for Cream.
We're into the...
Oh, it's politely that. Okay.
Yeah.
Hashtag Valor Series if you like the odds for Cream, or whether you think Nova is going to take this one. Let's go with our bans. It's looking a little bit familiar.
I think you should get used to this, Matt.
Yep.
Because it's going to be Elsu, it's going to be Lindis pretty regularly. The Tulin, though, is a specific ban against Denalians.
Right, Denalians loves those mobile heroes. Also, Nova very highly rate Tulin because he got a little bit of a stealth buff. If you go with your Lightning Strike, it goes much, much farther. It actually goes the full length of the indicator. How nice is that?
And because of that stealth buff, and because it's one of Denalian's favorite characters, it's going to get removed by Nova, who quite often like to ignore the meta bans in favor of target bans.
Exactly, and here comes one of those meta bans, excuse me, with the Richter, and finally Aram is coming in to the bans a lot here.
Also a target ban. The noob, very, very good at the character, one of his best support characters, and so they just Nova say, whatever you let through from the overpowered characters, from the current meta characters, we'll pick them up. In the meantime, we'll make sure that you're playing characters you're uncomfortable on, rating the comfort more importantly than the tier list.
All right, and we're seeing, looks like Poseidon going potentially for Sephira. Poseidon can play almost any mage in the mid, but going for that strong team play mage.
And this is the benefit of them not banning anything out of the meta. It means that one overpowered character, quote-unquote overpowered, does get through the draft, and Sephira will be instantly locked in by Poseidon. There's not a whole lot in terms of those powerful characters for Cream to pick up in response.
Hello, so we're going for a couple of side laners here with the Omen and the Valheim. You know, TJ, I know how good Valheim can be in the early game, but I'm kind of shying away on him because of the fact that we've seen such powerful marksmen like the Wisp, like the Morn lately.
Yeah, Valheim isn't really part of the ADC meta in the same way. He's more of a successful stun character, it feels like. He doesn't do damage. But this Roxy has done a lot of damage, particularly in the hands of Oxy.
Oxy on the Roxy. We saw this multiple times during the qualifiers. He is devastating on it, and he can Agnes grasp you to the other side of the world.
Yeah, because he's consistently able to land those Agnes grasps and drag people across the map.
Oh, hello.
Oh,
hello.
My goodness. They forgot to pay the Vex tax.
We forgot to mention the Vex tax. That is when you have to ban out the Murad, you have to ban out the Necroth, because Mr. Vex here, he is back into the meta. Those heroes are back into the meta, TJ, and he's going to be terrifying.
And they get a sideline telling us as well. This actually looks like a sick draft for Nova, and Cream, it feels, are being left with the dregs.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, that's rough. The dregs.
Okay, this is a little bit desperation pick, but the right pick here from Cream. If you're going to go against a Sephira, you need to outpoke her. You need to have that Kali. She's one of the best in the game at soft countering the Sephira because you deal damage from a distance. The Tide of Light doesn't matter as much.
If they can land the poke from the Kali, then they can shut down the Sephira. If then Cream, in addition to shutting down the Sephira, are able to get into the enemy jungle with Frost on the Cricknack, maybe take away some of Murad's farm, maybe.
I see. There's a lot of maybes, TJ.
Yeah.
And you know what? I look at the side of Nova and I see a very coordinated team comp, something a good overall theme. For Cream, I don't see that at all. I see, well, oh crap, they have Sephira. We need to pick Kali. But on the other hand, Valheim isn't a great backline marksman to deal that damage. It's very just mixed, and it feels like they really didn't know what they're doing with this draft.
But in our first game today, Sephira was basically a non-hero. Didn't really help at all. So why are they scared of Sephira here?
Poseidon.
Okay.
Poseidon is probably the best mid player in Europe. I trust him to play extremely well in the Sephira.
And don't forget, we did see a very powerful Sephira during those games because nobody could connect with them. And that's the power of Sephira, especially in the hands of a player as talented as Poseidon. You can consistently find the Tides of Light to disengage or engage, and you need to dedicate so many resources to denying that invulnerability that you actually lose a lot of the ultimates and setups you're looking for elsewhere.
And one thing to think about with the Sephora, if you look at the Sephora herself, it doesn't seem like she's doing much, but what you want to do is look at the other team, right? What is denied them? What can they not do? Because she's constantly being invulnerable, she's constantly healing her team. One of the things I thought when I first saw Sephora is like, she's fine. But when you see her in pro games, it's so frustrating when you're looking at it from the other side, what she denies you.
And a major part of that is just what the pros can do mechanically. The water wall, that kind of ring of water, it stuns anyone who stands on it. And it's so narrow, but the pros land it every time.
Nova against Cream, the first game of their best of 2.
And we're into it already as the Sephora we were talking so much about leads out the middle lane, Poseidon pressing into Denalians. Who do you favor there? Because Denalian certainly is a very good mage player.
Well, at the start of this game is certainly favoring Poseidon. I gotta say, I favor Poseidon. He is just a ridiculous mage and expect to land a ton of water walls. Expect to see tons of landed water walls here on the Kali. Obviously, Kali is soft counter, but I trust Poseidon to be able to win this one out.
I think I'm on the Denalian's train. He's just so good, especially with the aid of this in net. They have a lot of tools to set up the Kali ideally.
Well, this is a team game, TJ, and that poke has to be there. When the poke comes through, it has to be on Frost to jump in and get the kill with the Cricknack. And if the Tide of Life is on point, it could be a dead Cricknack because he is stuck if he can't get that kill.
Yeah, Cricknack is kind of a one-and-done character. You dive in with the drone drop, you spend all your damage, and then it's possible that you're instantly denied. And the power of the Sephora having that invulnerability is immense.
Exactly, and on the other side, we have the Tel Anos, who's going to be protected by the Sephora, by the Teamy. And that is huge if they can continuously get Oxy farmed up. But looks like we had a bit of a switch up here. Oxy's going to be on that Tel Anos. I trust him to play it very well, but we have Coco on the Roxy instead.
Oxy seems to be, well, he's a very good Roxy, but he's also very focused on playing those side lane marksmen. So if he has to choose between the two, he'll drift down to the bot lane on that Telenos and leave the Roxy up at the top.
And that's why they are so terrifying, because both Coco and Oxy can play multiple heroes that can make any composition work.
Here's a push from Cream. They kind of want an opening, but they'll be denied one as the full engage comes through. The noob is still vulnerable. That was a nice stun up from the Wind Cuffs, but first blood is over to Nova.
Yeah, Desperation Wind Cuffs came out, almost saved her, but not enough. And this might be terrifying if Vex can start to get going.
First blood not only over to Nova, but more importantly, I think, over to Vex.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've been talking about the rest of this lineup, but Vex is so terrifying on this Murad that if he gets going, he's going to take out everyone in the back line, and that includes the Kali that they're putting so much of their hopes on.
Because Murad can engage invulnerable, very similar to the Sephora, if you're in that temporal turbulence, it does not matter what defensive setup there is, they just can't hit you.
And Vex, Murad is perhaps the best Murad in the entire world. Let's just not put it lightly, including Taiwan, including Thailand. He is absolutely ridiculous on this hero, and he knows all the ins and outs, not just the temporal turbulence.
And he had a bit of a lackluster season too, because melee jungles weren't in meta. This was a time where it felt like kind of the dark age of Vex.
Yeah.
We weren't seeing him take over games, be the best jungler in EU, possibly one of the best in the world. Now he's got the perfect season for him, because Melee's back, and he's looked terrifying during qualifiers. Let's see if he can bring that into the regular season, though.
Well, he's already shown what he can do so far.
It was one kill, Daniel.
Hey. He's only going to continue that from now on as he continues this game. And as the game goes on, he's going to be more powerful on the Murad than Frost will be on the Cricknack.
He's cheeky. Cream getting a little bit risky. Will go all the way in. It almost got stolen by Grizzly, but the first Abyssal does go over to Cream.
Well, they might get punished for it.
Aliens poked down by the water wall, does get to safety.
Murad was on the other side of the map there, so unable to contest. That's a good decision by Nova. They don't get too greedy. They know, well, we weren't in position, that's fine. We're going to lose a little bit here, but we're not going to get shut out.
That brings the gold still in favor of Nova, but close. Cream have brought it back. This is almost tie game.
Exactly. So Cream is doing a good job of keeping this close, but I wonder when Nova is going to turn on the switch here. Obviously going to look for the right moment to do so, but hasn't come up yet.
Cream in the top lane. Perhaps Talented's up for grabs. Grizzly and Oxy will want it. There's the Eagle Eye, but the stun from the Pooty Poots. Though it does find the stun, it's too far behind tower. Talented could just back off if they went for it, and that means they won't get the kill.
Looks like the Ethereal Pulse coming out, not doing quite enough damage there, but
perhaps an opportunity. Yeah, the noob comes through to back up Talented, but They cannot slow down the player they want. That Telenas gets to safety.
It looks like a bit of desperation coming up from Cream here because that dual gank up top was never going to net them anything as long as it was caught out there.
But they don't really need to go for desperation plays because the cold's still even. They're still very much in this game.
Oh, they certainly are, but...
Aliens, never mind. I might have spoken too soon. Today Aliens is down, 3 ults committed. But it's enough. They find the kill, and Cream don't go for a teamfight engage. Only Frost to dive in with the drone drop. And that's too far forward. It's another free kill handed over by Cream.
And Grizzly Q goes down, but he had the Bing of Bro. That was very well played by Grizzly Q. He trades his life, but it actually wasn't a life trade because of that ultimate.
Frost, I'm perplexed by that decision. If you're going in, if you're drone dropping in for a team fight, do it when your team's there and fighting. Not after it's over, not into a bush, surely.
That is the lack of coordination that we've seen from Cream before, and it's certainly hurting them now. They do not have the margin of error to do that.
Here's the Abyssal coming through. Nova opt to split across the map
no.
because they don't need their full roster here. Oxy finds a free kill. Talented stunned up by the penetrating shot. Grizzly will chase him back while they work away on the tower.
TJ, this is just going to get worse and worse. Vex goes down, but as long as they can hold on.
But they got tower. Vex and Coco push down the tower into a 2v2, and it looks like Coco's pushed back the 2 defenders here to make sure that there won't be any revenge down in the bot lane. It's good in Death's Embrace landed, but Oxy actually aggroes the tower, so he takes the shots, allowing Grizzly Q to disengage and them to finish up the tower. Toss at least gets revenge.
Yeah, and they were able to take that tower down in the end. That is beautiful play from them. Not often do you see the marksman take the tower shots for the support, but in that situation, it was certainly right to do so. Oh.
Coco, oh my goodness.
Agnes grasp.
Just able to lock in the melee burst damage. You can't win a slug fight versus a Roxy.
And they're gonna, looks like they're going for this Abyssal Dragon, and this time, they'll be able to take it, potentially, no?
Opt not to go for the risk. It does get dicey. Cream want to burn it down before it resets. And they're too slow.
Absolutely too slow. So much damage on it and Aliens. Oh my
Grizzly! 1v3! He's got the resurrected. Alien spends the ult as well. Can they get the confirm? They will burn Grizzly Q down, but Talented might be a fair trade for it if Oxy can close the distance. There's the flicker, and the Tides of Life for a heal. They come out on top. Nova still trading positive.
Even when Teamy goes down, they still have Poseidon on the Zephyr to provide the Tide of Life for him to heal back up. Nova is just all over the map, dealing damage every which way. They're running Cream around.
And Cream and Fields have gone from, you know, still being in the game, still being close to playing hard defense.
Yeah, and even though they have the heroes to be able to do that, they have the aliens to be able to provide that from the Kali. I think that they need to start being a little more aggressive in these teamfights because I don't think they have the late game, TJ.
No, they need to start getting onto that Telenas. Stop trying to give, or to stop going for fights that give that Telenas perfect range, because especially as that second, or the second Abyssal Dragon of the game goes through to Nova, they're just going to get zoned out in the fights.
Look at that. Vex goes in, forces the essence of the windshield, and they're just retreating. They're just tail under heels.
My goodness. They just had to bail, and they can't bail to safety, because when Hot tries to, there's Coco in the bush.
I don't even know if that statement was actually accurate, but anyway,
Their tail was so far between their legs that they were standing on it.
That's exactly what I was going for. Yeah, I think you and I are on the same wavelength.
I understood you.
All right, but the biggest thing here, TJ, Telenas and Murat, those are certainly late game heroes, and they cannot be matched by the side of Cream.
No.
Falling behind like this is just death because it's going to continue to happen. Oh.
Vex caught out. Frost does win the trade. A good response for Cream.
That is something they need to do multiple times here to get back into this game, enough so that they can take potentially one of these major epic monsters, excuse me.
Yeah, if they can get an Abyssal, this game suddenly is very close. If they get a Dark Slayer, then they can turn that into Towers. This game is suddenly very close.
Double bush party, TJ.
Both teams standing across the mid lane with no contact to the other. Now finally they spot them. Hot, melted by Oxy. Ethereal Pulse will come through, but it's too little, too late. A Grizzly Q flickers in with Coco nearby. It's good Hurricane Wall, but the noob cannot split the fight. And Cream lose 2 more.
That was the opportunity that Nova was looking for, and they take advantage immediately. Now going straight for the Dark Slayer, and this looks like the beginning of the end.
Dark Slayer here turns into 2 towers. That built such a strong gold advantage for Nova.
Exactly, and let's see if they can take advantage. I'm saying they will because, again, they have the Telenos. She can outrange towers, TJ. They're going to be able to take these easily.
And the kills they found so far have consistently been onto the players you're relying on to kill the Telenos. Frost, unable to connect once.
Exactly, and even if you jump on him, they have it being a bro. Oxy's going on this tower, just doing so much damage, just shrugging off Denalians. Grizzly Q, look at that, he's just blocking it for him.
Denalians, though, does get the wave clear. Nice use of the Ethereal Pulse to do so.
I would like to see them actually just block the minions, speaking of Grizzly Q, so that they can potentially get that tower.
Drake summoned now in the Slayer lane. They'll be looking for the push here with the wave in a few seconds. Nova do kind of congeal up there. Vex has enough poke to threaten this tower without even diving in. There's nothing that can be done to defend. And Grizzly Q again on the flank. There's the Hurricane Wall spent with the essence of the wind. And it's not enough.
From
Aliens
downtown.
hunted down by the Water Spirits. Frost tries to dive on Oxy, but there are so many defensive ults. They can't get close. Here's the high ground under threat. Nova in for it, and it's gone.
He couldn't even get the Bing of the Bro up because he didn't even die.
Now the push comes through for the core. Nova looking to end it in 10 minutes 43. They've got the kills underneath tower. It's only Hot and the Noob to defend. And they've got Wave finally reaching here as well with the Drake. And they opt to clear the tower just to be safe. And it will be game number 1 of this BO2 over to Nova Esports EU.
Nova Esports flipped the switch. They were pretty even throughout the entire game until they said, no more. We've reached our power spike. You are going down, Cream.
My goodness, that was really powerful, especially, I think, from Poseidon. We kind of touched on it. We expected Poseidon to be good. I don't think I expected the amount of damage he was able to do with one Water Spirit at the end there.
That was... I'll tell you what my favorite bit of this is. I'll sum up my feelings on this. My favorite bit of that is you going, he couldn't even get being a bro off because he didn't even die.
What's the use of having a Resurrect ultimate if you don't need Resurrection?
Yeah, I mean, come on. Like, why just have
Off.
that there?
Well,
That teamie was shocking.
Yeah.
That teamie was in and in again. Grizzly Q is not scared of anybody, as you might expect from a team like Nova Esports, who are here, you know, as reigning champions of last season. This team, this Cream team, who could have been a problem for him, were keeping up with them at least for like the first 6 or 7 minutes or so.
Yeah, they took that first Abyssal. They made a game out of it. It did look really good for Cream. I can't stress this enough. Yeah, that looked good for Nova, but Nova do that to everyone. And normally, it looks so much more dominant in their favor. Cream definitely showed up there.
Right, but the issue with Cream is that they had more of an early game composition and they didn't take advantage. They needed to win very quickly, and they weren't close to doing that. So by being even, they were actually behind that entire time, and that's problematic.
We were a little bit surprised once that game kicked off to go, I know I was double checking, and I think you were where you were casting as well. Like, Oxy's not on Roxy. Oxy's bringing Talianas to this party. That's a little bit of a surprise. Worked out, nevertheless, of course.
We've seen him on the Valheim before. We haven't exactly seen him on Marksman's side, but this is why I think he's such a great addition, because I think that previously, iFlex could only play the side lane Marksman. I feel like Oxy has a varied hero pool, so too does Coco. That makes him so scary to play against. They can pull out any meta.
Yeah, and you could see the power of Oxy during these fights. You kept talking it up. But I'd like to highlight what was happening in response, because that clip right there is actually a really good demonstration of it. It felt like there was a desync at times on Cream that lost them fights they could have won.
Yeah, and Cream just weren't together as a team, like you mentioned, with Frost going in there after the team was already out. And one thing I want to bring this all together is that we talked about Grizzly Q and how he's being so aggressive. I think that's great for the side of Nova. They have players who can make plays, and if you have Grizzly Q on the front end with that teaming, making those plays or being aggressive and being that leader just with his play, that really leads the rest of the team to be able to follow up on it.
And plays like this, Grizzly Q always seeming to find a flank for the team. That shows
downtown, the Water Spirits.
That shows their communication though. Because Grizzly Q, you rely on him to play with the rest of the team, you rely on him to be with the team when they're under threat. For him to say, okay, I'm going to sit in this bush, you guys take the tower, then I'll come in. That shows that they understand what page they're on, and they know he has confidence both in his team that they won't be under threat and need his resurrect during that time, and they have confidence in him to come in when he's needed.
And that's scary if Nova is going to be on the same page like that. Just, they have the skill, and if they're going to be a team, then other teams really have no chance. I have to be completely clear here.
Well, they did look a little bit shaky during the early game. Like we said, Cream were able to make a game out of it. I'd like to take a moment and reference our KDAs because Oxy was maybe what happened towards the late game.
Oxy looked great. Obviously, he had so much damage there, but I think it was the fact that Grizzly Q helped him out so much that entire time. Grizzly Q 12 out of 13 of their total kill participation.
Yeah, these are all really good numbers across the board. Coco turning up as Roxy was a little bit of a surprise to me, but made it stick. Oxy, really, really powerful, really dominant stuff.
He actually left that game with 0 deaths, which is a problem for Cream. Obviously not a problem for Nova.
Yeah.
But it shows more to me that, yeah, Nova were doing a good job defending him, but Cream, a team with the Cricknack, a team with an Omen, weren't able to isolate him ever.